Hi, welcome to Down the Track on NView TV. My name's Bruce Mott and I'm your host in this series on Jordan White. Jordan, as you know, is a motorcycle road racer from WA. He's 15 years old. He's been racing in the 400cc where he's a state champion, and this year he's entered in the men's league, the 600cc. Let's bring Jordan on and see how he went in the first round of the state championship just this weekend gone past. Hey Jordan, how you going?
Yeah, good, Bruce. Just still debriefing from the weekend gone by.
Right, okay, so you need to tell us all about it. Obviously, on the first two episodes of the show, we learnt how you started off when you were racing when you were 2 years old and all that sort of thing on the bike. And then leading up to your testing weekend before last. And then last weekend was the first round of the state championships. How did it go?
Yeah, well, can't complain really. Stayed upright, which is really the main goal of every race weekend we go to. But it went well. I qualified second on the 400, sixth on the 600, and got 3 out of 3 wins on the 400, which is I was really pleased with. It's exactly how I wanted to start the season. And on the 600, I just took things easy. Couldn't really get off the line very well. Struggled with that. But yeah, I went 8th, 7th, and then 6th on the 600, which is honestly a good result. I learned a lot of things and learned how to make fast lap times.
And you were racing in the 400 and the 600, so that's 6 races in the one day. Did that take a toll physically on you?
So yeah, exactly right. I'd go out on the 600 and I'd be all fresh and it'd be good. But being a big bike, it took it out of me a little bit. And I'd come back in and I'd get to the pits and have like 2 mouthfuls of water. Then I'd get straight out into the 400. So it didn't really affect me on the 600, but on the 400, yeah, it was just had to take things easy and not push anything because I didn't have the physical strength at the point.
And then the weekend was a tough weekend because it was raining some parts, dry the other parts. I didn't realise that you actually have not 2 bikes but 4 bikes because it was a bad day, as I said. It was wet and dry at some parts. You actually have a wet weather bike and a dry weather bike. So tell us how this works, that you not actually got 2 bikes, you've got 4, and the reasons why you have 4.
See, with racing, the weather can change drastically in the period of a couple of minutes. So, like, if there's a shower that comes past, it can wet the track, and you might not have enough time to change the wheels on the bike. And obviously, if you have to get tires fitted, it's impossible. You wouldn't be able to get out in time. So, we made a decision. If we have 2 bikes for every class, and we can put one as the dedicated wet bike and one as the dry bike. So when the weather changes, instead of having to pull wheels out, fit tires, put it back in, change gearing, we just have a bike that's already got all that on it. So then when it comes and we need to use it, we can just hop on a bike and it's easier.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really think about that, how much it would be more difficult to change a tyre on a bike than it would be on a car. So I can understand the reasons why you would have those 2 bikes. And I can only imagine that it's different when you jump on a bike that you got off a bike that's warm, it's at racing temperature, the tyres, the engine, and all that sort of thing, and you jump on a cold bike. It must be like you have to start again. Is that the case?
Yeah, exactly. Like when you go out on the bike, obviously the engine warms up as you go around, then you take it easy on the out lap. But when you get down to the grid, when you're sitting there, your tyres are cooling off all the time. So you really got to make a conscious effort to go out there and warm the tyres up. And when you go onto a new bike and the bikes, they all feel different, you know. No matter how similar the bikes are, how closely you try and make them feel the same, they never quite match up and they always have different characteristics. And yeah, it can be quite a challenge to go out there on a bike that you haven't ridden yet and to put in a fast lap time. And yeah, it's not something I really enjoy doing, but to be a race, you have to do.
And with the difference in the 400cc, obviously you'll be very happy with the 400, given that you won the 3 events that you raced in. The 600 be a learning curve for you. It's just first time. I mean, you're 15 years of age. You're racing now in an adults class. And I would imagine weight of the rider and strength of the rider is going to play a big part. But coming in where you did between 6th and 7th in your first round of 600, you must be very happy.
Yeah, I'm actually really pleased with how that happened because, as I said, I wasn't really getting the starts that I really wanted. Like I'd lose 3, 4 positions off the line, which meant to get back to where I started, I've already passed 3, 4 bikes. And then to actually improve from where I started, yeah, I'm happy with that. It's just the sort of small things I need to work on, which could make, 10, 15 seconds over a race difference in the total race time.
All right, well, let's have a look at a bit of the footage from the weekend and you can talk us through it. So here looks like you're got your leathers on, putting your gloves on, getting ready to jump on the bike and go out for your first race. Getting a bit of a pep talk from, who's that person giving you a pep talk there?
That's Andrew Biffin. He's the guy that runs the team, Go Moto Store team. He's the Go Moto Store founder and with Race Shield, and that's his bike that he's letting me do the 600 season on.
All right, and we're just going to go back a little bit here. You do some exercises. What's that there you're doing?
I'm just trying to stretch my hips out because when you're riding, you got to have your knee out. It's nothing worse than when you put your knee out and then you get a cramp in your hip and then you're trying to ride around funny and stretch the hip the other way to try and get the muscle to stop cramping.
Okay. And so I see that your mother and your father get you down off the tyre stands or bike stands or whatever they're called, and you're going out for a race here. So this must be it's really pumping. Now, I want to take you through this. So this is the start of, I think you're on the 600cc, is that correct?
Yeah, that's the 600cc, Go Motor Store R6.
Okay, so you've commented that you're a bit slow off the line with the 600. I'm going to ask the question here, is this a false start? Look where your front tyre is. Do you have to be behind that white line?
That white line is for the V8 supercars. So we have different grid markings. So if you look carefully down at the footage, you can see that there's a red line just in front of my tyre.
Ah, okay.
Because we use the red pit boxes.
Ah, very good. I wasn't trying to catch you out. I was just asking the question. So you're leaving here. You did comment later on that you're a bit slow off the line with the 600, and I guess that shows here when you look at the footage. A few people got to jump on you there. Yeah, a few people got to jump on you there, but racing around the track, you seem to have all the speed.
So yeah, out on the 400, I'd say here. This must be during qualifying, I'd say, because it looks like a bit overcast, a bit rainy.
Okay.
Yeah, just going through, trying to put in a lap time.
And then it's just you after the race commenting that, yeah, you didn't quite get off the line the way you wanted to and all that. So tell me how you're going to get better in the 400 and how you're going to get better in the 600.
So yeah, on the 400, I feel like I can make a lot of time up through a couple sectors of the track, just being a little bit more brave and trusting the bike that little bit more, which could take, a couple tenths off your lap time in every corner, which then over the track, makes a big difference. But on the 600, I just really need to get those starts dialed in. I can be a bit more aggressive and know that the bike can handle it. And yeah, once I can get those starts, I can start, getting past the group in front of me and then trying to catch on to the next group and get some clear track in.
So it's about being more aggressive on the start, knowing that the bike can actually take that extra power and grip on the track. Is that what you need to do?
Yeah, I just need to know that the bike will wheelie, but even when you're being aggressive, you can do a wheelie, but you can, maintain that and it won't flip me off.
All right. And how are you going to get better on the 400?
Yeah, it's just those little bits in the corners, pushing a little bit harder. I think, realistically, I can just be a little bit more aggressive into and out of the corners because coming off the 600, you sort of get into the habit of not being too aggressive with the throttle. But when you're on a bike with a third of the horsepower, you just need to be as aggressive as you can.
And racing, because you're racing the 400, then the 600, then the 400, then the 6, and so on, would it be, and I'm not saying that you could organise a race for this to happen. But would it be easier for you if your 3 races, you race 3 in the 400 and then then 3 in the 600, rather than going 4 to 6, 4 to 6, 4 to 6?
I'd say yes and no. Obviously, when you swap quickly between them, you sort of remember things and go, oh, I got to do this, oh, I got to do this, and you get into the habit. But I feel like if we did 3 in a row, then 3 in a row, I'll, get set into those habits, and then it would be harder because then you've been doing that for 3 races. So it's a bit of a catch-22.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Look, Jordan, thanks for joining us again today. It's good to hear how you went on the weekend, as we've said, and you've said. Very happy with the results. You're looking forward to improving. You're out there. Next race is Sunday, the 24th of April, so only a couple of weeks away. You must be excited about that. That's at Wanneroo. And then do you travel after that? Is that Collie after the second round? So Collie the third round?
Yeah, Collie's the third round.
Which track do you prefer racing at, Wanneroo or Collie?
Both tracks have their strengths and weaknesses. I like Wanneroo due to camber in the corners. You can hit them pretty fast, but then it's not as long as Collie. I like Collie because you've got lots of different corners and different styles of corners and changes and undulation when you're going over the track. But if I had to choose, I'd say I like Wanneroo more, just with the camber of the corners, you can hit them so fast.
So at Wanneroo in the 600 class, you're looking at around about a minute a lap, give or take. At Collie, what would it be?
On the 600 is this?
Yeah.
On the 600, I think they do roughly, I think the lap record's a minute 11, minute 12. But if I went there, I think I'd be around minute 13 because I haven't done too much track time there.
All right, so it's about 10 seconds, 12 seconds longer track than Wanneroo.
Yeah.
Is that because the track is longer or because the corners are slower?
The tracks are similar length from what I understand, but yeah, there's more corners shorter distance from each other. So when you're hitting all those corners, you can't do 200 through a corner, whereas Barbagallo, you can do 240 between corners. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a little bit shorter distances between corners and then more corners.
So Jordan, plans for the next round. What are you going to do between now and round 2 of the championship?
Well, obviously I'm looking to improve all the time, so hopefully I can get some track time down at Wanneroo with being my sponsor, and we can try a few different setups with the bikes and, just mess around and try and get those lap times down.
And so Track Action are a great supporter of yours. That gives you the opportunity to go down and test at the track and try a few things out. Is that right?
So yeah, the deal with Track Action is that I'm on their team, and yeah, they give me track time down at the track, and yeah, it's actually a valuable asset because track days are so expensive now. It's great. Go down there, try out different things with the bike, and yeah, love it.
Well, great. Thank you, Track Action, because that's obviously great support for you. Likewise, Go Motor Store, obviously providing you fantastic support with bikes and apparel and all those sorts of things. So no doubt you want to thank them as well.
Yeah, Go Motor Store are a great support as well. They supplied me with a bike this year as well as being on the team with them. And yeah, when mishaps do happen, they're always there with parts to supply me. And yeah, I'd like to thank all my sponsors that helped me throughout the season, round to round.
Well, thank you, Track Action. Thank you, Go Motor Store. And of course, thank you, InView TV. And thanks, Jordan. So looking forward to you racing again in round 2 at the end of the month. Thanks for being on Down the Track on InView TV. And we'll catch you again soon.
It was my pleasure, Bruce.